you no longer. But rest assured, I'll do my share of hunting too. So if you spot a white cat during your travels, do stop to say hello.
Oh, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away? Ah, there it is.
I'm overheating here.
Source Hunter. A sight for sore eyes, if ever there was one.
Before she could do any real damage.
Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been mauled. I'll be disfigured for life.
Come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that.
The face, Virius. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly'll be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try it, Screech woman. The beast speaks? So you've half a brain behind that feral maw, have you? The cretin's question crossed her lips and...
I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, but truth be told, the Legion could use your help as well. We've been conducting a series of expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success. Lieutenant Selenia, at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second-in-command, but rest assured I am a lot more kindly inclined towards source hunters than he is. Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition, and even rivalry between our orders, but I, for one, have no intention of looking a gift horse in the mouth. And that is exactly what your presence in Sicil is, source hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. Such is my honest conviction. The undead. I pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Sicil, after all. No longer do I feel that way, though. Too many of my soldiers have fallen. The dead must be put down without mercy, if we can. The bravest among my men and women tell me they are weaker in the west and stronger in the east. So I suggest you head westward if you want to flex your muscles and test the waters before blindly diving to your death.
Before she could do any real
I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you.
I'll be disfigured for life.
It's very sweet of you that you are trying to get these men a job, but I'm afraid they're not Legion material. Sure, they can tie a knot and blow a whistle like the best of them, but even with a sword in their hands, they wouldn't stand a chance against the undead, and I don't want any more blood on my hands. If ever we want to be victorious in Sicil, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising. Under the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched to do just that, but so far, none of their participants have returned. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation: the lighthouse, the burial mounds, and the old church. Places fraught with danger all. There's a lighthouse to the west, up on the bluffs, overlooking the sea. No man has gone there in a decade, and yet a light shines from its pinnacle every night. The locals say it's haunted, and half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out whether or not those are mere tall tales. I fear for their safety. There are ancient burial grounds to be found north of the city. As good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say? A local archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be of use to them. There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the source. The Sicilians razed it, and built a church for the 7 instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery. All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition. So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly'll be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try it, Screech woman. The beast speaks?
Hey, who's that then? Come on, stand where my good eye can see you.
Easy, Tull. That's the source hunter you're talking to.
She may have the look of a woman if you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a wild animal. We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, taking aim at a fat old rat trotting along the city walls. I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat and lunged right at me.
Bit Tullia right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off it to boot.
Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well send her into the wilds again, can we?
You think that's funny, Private?
Perhaps it'd be worth taking this stranger under our wing. She'll likely come in handy if we can trust her to watch our back.
After all, a fearless hunter might prove quite useful for our investigation.
Well, that's a relief, ain't it? We found a good home for her after all, Tull.
Heed me, Source Hunter. She's not good for anything more than cannon fodder. And don't turn your back on her when she's got that bow within arm's reach.
Source Hunter. I have heard tales both grand and terrible about the world of humans. I myself was caged one moment and freed the next by our kind. In Home Forest, every creature acts according to the nature of its kind. Birds frighten easily, badgers fear little. But amongst men, there are no guarantees.
Private?
Sir! No, sir!
Attention! About face!
If you say it is so, then wary I will be. As the god wolf Amira commanded Threes, win you from your wicked world, or cold company will corrupt you.
Those folks that embarrass a bridge folk get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir! No, sir!
Attention! About face! To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Attention! About face! To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
What have we here, then? A so-called source hunter, eh? Well, look, do what you must in Sicil, but don't make waves and don't interfere with the Legion's affairs. You hear?
Well, I was really hoping to find something better. Shadows hide your loyal servant.
I'm Captain Aureus, if you must know, leader of the Legion in Sicil, by which I mean I have the enviable task of commanding a battalion of walking dead, for I fear it may well be but a matter of time before the undead undo all my soldiers and turn them into drivelling hordes of their own misshapen number. Gods above! Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother. But he just had to send for source hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They see a pigeon poop and think sorcery's afoot. Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop. Understand? I am in command of this town, not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined, but report back to me the moment you discover something out of the ordinary. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Now off with you! Esmeralda is Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now, the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice as evidence, wouldn't you say? Or do source hunters rely on hearsay alone, perhaps? That certainly would explain some of the cock-ups you lot have made in the past. What? You're going to stand there and claim with a straight face your order never wrongly tortured and executed anyone? Hardly. But I won't stand for such nonsense. If you bring evidence before me, I'll evaluate it with perfect objectivity. The Legion relies on reason, see? Not idle superstition.
Another perfect heist. You sneak with the subtlety of a tried and true cat burglar. I wasn't, in fact, complimenting you. I was pointing out that you're behaving like a villain, not the heroes we're perceived to be. Fat cat, dirty rat, more like.
Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
Ah, cruel fortune.
Thank the seven, we've secured the
One coin or two, noble spirit? One coin or two? Oh, I am a happy man, and certainly a humble one now. It turns out losing it all has its own share of benefits. Ah, a fool once was I, and ever seeking greater satisfaction than that which I already enjoyed. In my folly, I sought the counsel of those notorious Watcher statues on the western cliffs. Their guidance ruined any small fortune I might have had, but certainly granted me humility. I'd heard they were not to be trusted, that they gave fools' advice to the fools who sought them, but somehow I believed that I was the exception. They told me that I would find fame and renown if I renounced my worldly possessions, all my worldly possessions, and became a great figure of piety and humility. Fire, the most thorough cleanser, was my method. But as my house burned in front of me, I felt no elevation, no piety, only the sudden weight of my own idiocy upon my very soul.
So, those statues told him he'd have to renounce his earthly possessions to become a spiritual leader, did they?
Ah, cruel fortune.
Makes sense to me. How can you explore the spirit when you're busy keeping up with the Joneses?
Indeed. He said himself that he's finally learned humility. Maybe he made the right choice, really.
Have some pity.
I've just got back from the realm of fairy. It was lovely, but I should have brought my winter boots.
Have some pity. Ah, cruel fortune.
Source hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. Things is chaos. They're on the market, it seems. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump Ogget, the finest in me herd. Now that the herd's gone, old Bertie's just scratching by like a hen till the next batch of beasties comes through. I recently sold most of the tender loves to a trader heading north. Plenty of business that way these days. Those miners must be preparing for a mighty great feast. Wish I could have a nibble on my dear darlings, all ground and spiced. Sorry, can't help you there. Haven't got enough livestock left to warrant a hand with the work. Yes. Oh, Ogget's been missing for more than a fortnight.